It's a first. The role of agroforestry in carbon storage is now taken into account by the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change.
Very recently we published a paper that gathered all the data that were published on soil organic carbon storage in biomass but also in the soil. And now in the new IPCC report that was released in May this year, it's now taken into account.
Agroforestry is an increasingly recognised practice, as shown by the success of this 4th World Congress, held in Europe for the first time. 1,200 participants from 100 or so countries met in Montpellier.
We had a lot of brilliant agroforestry research that were never used by farmers. So the idea here is to bridge the gap between researchers and society, and for that you need to bring society into the Congress. And we opened the Congress to the general public. Yesterday we had 2,000 people visiting the Congress, which is quite unusual. And we also invited a lot of politicians, NGOs and extensionists, and all those people have a different look at what we are doing.
Margaret Nilima, a Kenyan farmer, was at the Congress to talk about the services rendered by trees in her fields. On just over 2 hectares, she and her husband rear dairy cows and grow bananas, coffee and several sorts of vegetables.
Why I plant the trees in between the crops is because they keep the moisture on my soil, they bring fertility on my soil, they recycle the nutrients on my soil for the crops to feed. The leaves from the branches of the trees, I feed my cows. Agroforestry is a practice that is good. Anybody can manage. Now I have enough food for my children, whereby even I cannot use all for only feeding, but I sell some to enable me pay school fees for my children, buy clothes, cater for domestic use.
Agroforestry is a way forward for the environment, for agricultural production and for the food and nutritional security of farmers themselves.
Fruits, nuts, oils, they're very important in the human diet. Agroforestry systems also provide shade and shelter for vegetable crops and cereal crops and grazing systems, livestock as well. Basically, agroforestry can help all types of food systems and often improves the resilience and the diversity and the water management within the whole system.
The many advantages of this type of farming make it one of the solutions for achieving the Sustainable Development Goals set by the UN. With almost half of its people dependent on farming, India has had a national agroforestry policy for 5 years now.
SDG 1 talks about no poverty. This year we are going to raise 1 billion plants, means almost around $85 million will go to the person, creating 17 million jobs.
The Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations was represented at the Congress by its Deputy Director.
We discuss a very important theme, which is agroforestry, how we connect a different approach towards sustainable agriculture.
Over 3 days, in plenary and parallel sessions, the various issues were addressed in the light of 4 major themes.
4 themes are the contribution to the Sustainable Development Agenda and Sustainable Development Goals, the climate change effects, the private sector contribution through investment, and the contribution to food security from agroforestry.
The Congress gave rise to more than 1,000 scientific contributions, the creation of the International Union of Agroforestry, a roadmap, and the Montpellier Declaration, entitled Make Our Planet Treed Again.
The roadmap session is to design a statement by the Congress that will be diffused to all the governments and pushing for key innovation that would be very useful for the planet and for agroforestry.
We have been able to gather 1,200 people from all over the world, and with them we put agroforestry very high on the agenda for climate change, biodiversity and food security. Together, the many stakeholders present at the Montpellier Congress set a key milestone for the progress of agroforestry worldwide.